decided to slow down last night. I was going to book my room that I'm in now for a second night, but I'm going to make sure I can stay in the same room. Check with the front desk when I go back. I decided to head down to the harbor here first thing this morning and been taking some shots. Check this out. Everybody's out walking their dogs. I'm out walking my camera. That sounded stupid, but anyway, yeah, I decided to stay here another night because, well, to be honest with you, I'm traveling way too damn fast. I wanted to cover a lot of states here in a short amount of time. It's the only way to do it. But in Maine, again, this is my 7th night, I believe. 6th or 7th night. I'm like, yeah, it's time to slow down. So I'm going to try to stay here one more night. Can you even see me? Hold on. Again, I'm going to try to stay here one more night. Because a couple of reasons. One, I just want to explore this place a little bit more. A little bit more in depth. And I have to do laundry. That's another thing. Plus, I was going to stay here 2 nights to begin with. I don't know why I just booked one when I booked the room. I've been kind of slowing down on the pre-booking because I was trying to gauge the fall color timing. But I think if I stay here central in the coast, what I'm going to do next... Oh yeah, just look at this view I found. Like it discovered it, like it didn't exist before. Check this out. I think you may have missed that first ring, but 7 o'clock, that means the coffee's ready back at the hotel. Perfect timing. So yeah, I'm kind of digging this 6:30 a.m. sunrise. Gets me up early every morning. Totally digging this, can you tell? Yeah, this will be a great place to stay. Again, for a couple of reasons. I've got laundry to do, but I really want to explore a little bit more of this coast area here between, well, there's 2 or 3 other ports near here that I can easily get to. And just having my stuff at home base here is going to feel a little bit more feel a little bit more grounded for a day. Nobody out there. A lot of people out for their morning walk. Some other photographers I saw down here. People walking their dogs. Well, I stopped recording because there was a guy coming my way, but that turned into like a half-hour conversation. Turned out this guy used to live in Boston, and he looks a little older than me. I guess he's semi-retired. They've lived up here full-time year-round. Anyway, he's works from home for whatever he does. It turns out he's a meteorologist, a weather guy. So we started talking weather, and I had no idea. In the winter, they pull all the docks out of here, and most all the boats. And up until about 10 years ago, this little harbor used to freeze in the winter. You could actually ice skate out there. But he was talking to me about several storms they had, a couple this past year. In fact, he said there's video of it out there. I'll have to try to find some where there were major waves that came up over the hill where I was and pulled benches down into the water, and the restaurants got flooded. Hey, the leaves are falling. Check it out. I feel like I'm in Switzerland. Check out this little footbridge. River Ducks ice cream. River Duck. Isn't this cute? So you get the River House Inn, the Lord Camden Inn, and the River House, well, just the River House Hotel. I mean, I love where I am though, up the hill. But this is so cute. And it's nice now because it's quiet. Hardly anybody's here. Again, a testament to why I like to get out in the mornings. You can't see it, but it says River House Hotel. It's way blown out. So, what the guy was trying to tell me was, we were talking about the seasons and, what happens here. And I hope this isn't too windy. In fact, let me get out the mic. Hold on. Technically, it's a lot of work putting these things together. People in the bagel shop are looking at me and they're like, hey, there goes a vlogger. Alright, so to finish my little lame story. So what he says is I guess the cruise ships come in to Rockland and dock, and then they bus everybody up here, not every day, but whenever they're out cruising. They bus everybody up into this little town here. And then what happens is this place gets just absolutely overrun. And the problem or the challenge is there's no solid infrastructure to deal with that. There's only like one public restroom here. A lot of the times, people aren't open. It's not real. It's a very seasonal area, and if you're doing something in the tail season or the shoulder season, you don't have all the facilities and amenities to support the influx of all those people. What happens, I was telling them, that's been happening in Italy too. In the Cinque Terre, the cruise ships have been parking in La Spezia and been taking the train or the bus up to Vernazza and overrunning the little town that's only got a couple hundred people that live there. Don't have the resources to support that, but anyway, first world problems, I guess. It's kind of made a big loop over here. People are looking out the window of the bagel shop up through the River House. Tannery Row. Upscale balcony rooms with parking. I guess that's like an Airbnb. What was I saying? Nothing really. Oh yeah, people were looking out the window going, Mommy, there's that vlogger again. You know why I like the fact that it's a little chilly out? is I get to sport the scarf. One guy saw me like for the third time. I think he felt like saying, "Look, little vlogger boy, take your little scarf and get out of our little town. Don't tell the world about it." Well, I am. It's Camden, Maine. Come check it out. Settle in, grab a beverage. This might take a little while. Been kind of going at a different pace on these last couple of videos, slowing down, kind of riding the edit a little bit slower than normal, less jump cuts, and just trying to capture some of the experience while I was there. I just want to point out real quick, I've been photographing a lot or sharing a lot of images on this episode and the past one from my Fuji X-T2 and of course the iPhone. We've been focusing on photography because I was in a really pretty area. But anyway, let's shift gears a little bit. I was going to share a clip here. It was filmed in a laundromat parking lot in coastal Maine, in Camden here, while I was waiting on the clothes to dry. Beethoven was playing on the radio, and I'd just eaten a cheeseburger, and I was on a bit of a tear. Not angry, but just observational. Rambling, actually. About campaign signs, political divides, why we seem to be living in different countries depending on what road you're on. I started comparing what I was seeing in small coastal towns to what I had just seen across some of the interior states. I was noticing, like I often do when I travel, that there's this invisible line, kind of, somewhere between the coast and the heartland. And the signs, they don't just say who somebody's voting for. They kind of scream out, "This is who I am. This is what I fear. This is what I hope for," or "This is who I don't want coming into my neighborhood." But in that moment, rambling away, I kind of started to try to make sense of it all, you know? Generally speaking, why do the people on the coast and in the big cities tend to vote one way while people in the small towns in the middle of the country vote another way? Why do we talk at each other more than with each other? And why is it that so many of us seem to feel unheard, yet we're all shouting at each other? Again, I was on a bit of a rant, so I'm not really going to show it, but not because I regret what I said, but because this isn't about adding another opinion to the pile. I mean, I'm not running for anything. I'm not trying to win a debate. I'm just curious. And that curiosity is, I guess, better served with a question mark than an exclamation point. You know, I have many family members that watch these. At least I hope they do. They think a lot differently than I do. It's one of the reasons I don't want to go down the rabbit hole of sharing my opinion. But I do want to document what I was doing. I went from this beautiful place down by the harbor, and then, you know, I kind of was trying to process all this. And again, I went on a bit of a rant to camera. And that's part of the documenting of what I'm doing this year. You know, good or bad. I guess what I really wanted to do was to just sit down with someone, anyone, and ask the question, why do you feel the way you do? Politically speaking, that is. What matters to you most? I wanted to simply ask those questions, you know, and listen. Like, really listen. I think it would have been some great footage for this documentary of the day. And for this entire year, actually. Based on where we are right now.
Anyway, that clip reminded me that I don't just travel to see pretty places, I travel to understand, myself included. So no, I'm not going to show the clip, but I'm keeping the questions. And if I ever find myself back in that laundromat parking lot, maybe I'll ask them out loud. And until then, I'll stick to photographing sunsets, eating roadside cheeseburgers, and quietly overanalyzing the campaign signs that I notice along the way.
I don't know what I'm saying. I do know what I'm saying. I'm just not sure how to say it. All right, it's time to hit the road. Get back, drop off the laundry, and let's go explore the coast. Stop talking politics.
So this is pretty similar to, well, it's not similar at all. There's a working shipyard here there's a boardwalk that goes kind of like the whole length of the town, I guess, but it goes through the shipyard. There's a sign there that said, please be respectful of the fact that it's a working shipyard. Middle of the day, harsh lighting, but still nice to be out. Got a few clouds out. The weather's so awesome. One of the things that I really liked about Camden was I was able to walk down onto those docks and really get close to the boats. Not all of them, but I think there was a couple that were, I guess you could rent, or not rent, you can go out on. I took a brochure from one, but so most docks where I live, where the boats are, you can't unless you're part of that group, that boat owner group. You're not going down on the dock. It's kind of nice to get down close to the boats. Again, nothing earth-shattering. I'm just sharing what I'm seeing. All right. Let's move on. Next port town. Here we come. Buckle up. The discount tour is just getting started.
So this is a view of Belfast from the car bridge. Just an update from the discount tour. Elsewhere in Israel was defeated and ineffective.
It's also to point out, though, he called it a significant escalation on the part of Iran. If you compare it to the attack in April, not only in April there were, I think, like 185 drones used, which are much slower moving, easier
we
to...
are bracing for the Israeli response to these Iranian strikes, and the expectation is that, unlike in April when the Israeli response to...
Here's a cruise ship I was talking about. So that's got to be Rockland down there. Talking about busing them into Camden. Right here. So let me just say something. I know I was talking about politics earlier today. I don't even know what's going to end up in the vlog or if I'm going to have any of that in there. But I just want to say that I have met some of the nicest people today that live in this area. People from Maine. I'm on the top of I think it's Camden State Park. something like that, overlooking the harbor. You could see the cruise ship off to the right-hand side I was talking about before. I was talking to somebody here about how they're kind of testing the water with that, and that may end up going away because there's people here aren't a big fan of it, like I said. But I just I was talking to another woman up here, and she said her and her husband moved up here 6 years ago, and I mean, we just chatted for a little while, but she gave me some recommendations of some other places that I might go, and may stay up here one more day. I don't know. It's gorgeous here. The people are great to talk to. I love Maine. I really do. I never feel like I've seen enough because there's so much to see up here. I just wanted to say all that. I don't know. Will that be in the vlog? Who knows? Vloggy vlog. Oh, by the way, it's Camden Hills State Park. I'll take you for a little ride down the mountain.
Check out their view, huh?
So I'm on the, I guess it'd be the south side of the port of Camden. I was photographing this morning, kind of around the corner where all the boats are, the restaurants. I kind of went out onto the peninsula here. It was just up at the state park, which I believe is up there. Yep, I can see the little castle with the view down this way. Just kind of wandering around here, trying not to slip and fall. Haven't seen any sea life, but it's so peaceful down here. I tell you what, really enjoying visiting every state and trying to enjoy the uniqueness of that state. Like, you could spend a lifetime exploring Maine and its various little peninsulas. Like I said, it's not really one of those coastlines that you can just drive, because there's these pieces of land that jet out. So you just kind of pick one and embrace it, enjoy it, explore it. Look at this little house here, look at their view. Am I pointing at it? Yeah, right there. Can't believe what a tidal change, huh? Look, I mean, the tide was recently up here because it's really wet. Big tidal move, as you can see the little ramps there that go down on the boats that are on hinges. We're at the beginning of fall. Leaves are just starting to change, as you can see across over in there. And that's it. Kind of exploring this little beach. By the way, the area is called Late Memorial Beach Park. Laite. I bet it's going to be gorgeous in another week with the color, maybe week and a half. It's still pretty now.
So I'm just kind of driving down a road down from where I was, and there's all these turkeys up in the guy's yard, as you could see. And there were like 3 or 4 deer up there. See the turkey?
deer just kind of scampered away. Oh, there's one. There they go. Oh, you can't see them.
As the day winds down, so does this episode. After first light at the harbor, after laundry cycles and rambling reflections, and after coastal towns and curious glances, I find myself driving slowly back through Camden, past little restaurants where conversations linger and lights begin to glow in the windows. I've been letting the pace breathe here on this episode, kind of on purpose. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. But this isn't about rushing towards some conclusion. It's about rediscovering this country that I live in, the one I call home. One quiet road at a time. I stopped for a simple dinner. Actually, it was a kind of a casual little place here. Here's a view of the outside of it. It was a great place to hang out, actually. I snapped a few photos. Also from this morning is a bunch of iPhone images I haven't shared yet. From the harbor to the Hilltop Park and a couple from the beach that I ended the day at. I also snapped a couple here at the hotel. They had a really cool fire pit out back. Great place to wind down. I'll dig a bit more into the hotel or the inn in next week's episode. I have a few more images to share. Here's a sneak peek at a couple of them though. But for now, this episode seems like it's full enough. I gotta tell you, if you've made it this far, thanks for sticking with me through this, 65 episodes, I think. Again, this one was a bit different, but it's all about expressing myself in different ways and giving myself the freedom to do that. I hope you enjoy it. Anyway, hope in some way this made you feel something, or maybe just reminded you to look a little closer the next time you're out there traveling and exploring this beautiful country of ours. I'll see you next week, and, well, as always, more on all of this later.